Please like, subscribe, and share the podcast, the Sweatshop Podcast. We're on Facebook, Spotify, and on SoundCloud. We're also on Instagram and on Twitter. Our handle is at the Sweatshop Pod. If you don't want to do that, you can just look us up. The Sweatshop Podcast, we gon' be on there. And please enjoy the show. Thank you. Welcome to the Sweatshop Podcast, the one-stop shop for talking shop. It is me, your host, Sweats, and my co-host, the Maestro. What up, dude? We official under that HT Dub banner, baby.
We are. It feels good to settle into our new home, even though it's always kind of been my home, but now I'm bringing my friend with me.
Yes.
To this new home, new home of this shit, I can't even think of the goddamn word for it, but growing. We'll do it that way. Growing network of podcasts and other content we got here at the HTW Podcast Network. So it is wonderful. It is wonderful to bring you in, a friend to the High Tension family.
That's right. Friend of the family. Coming in.
Oh, you're part of the family now. Oh, this is like Heenan. This is like the Heenan family.
Okay, the Heenan family. Okay,
you're in the family.
Okay, very good.
You're in the family.
Man, it's been a crazy couple weeks. I had to take a little week off, man. I had to get that shot, and then I had to get that the second shot. I didn't really have any side effects really until like I guess that night, and I was like feeling super duper tired. So I was like, man, that's a good time to kind of revamp and kind of reset up for the upcoming move into the high tension world.
Yeah, we needed some time to move, man. We got to pack up the boxes. We got to pack up our boxes. We got to get the movers.
Yes, sir. Dude, I hate moving. I don't even want to sidetrack that, but I motherfucking hate moving. Like, I've done so much moving in the last, 4 years, man. I'm like, fuck that shit.
I mean, I hated that shit in college.
Oh, I know.
Like, where you, moving... pretty much every year at college, I'd move to a new place. There was only 1 year I think I stayed at the same place for 2 years.
Yeah, you definitely moved almost every year.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so after that, I was tired of moving shit.
Yeah, I don't like moving.
And then I moved another 2 times after that.
That's why I kind of condensed my shit. You know what I mean? Like now, I just don't have a lot of shit. I do. Well, it's expensive shit. Like I have quality shit, but it's
right.
I don't have a lot of shit. I don't have a lot of clothes. I got a lot of music equipment, and that's about it. And I got my new PS5 in it.
Oh, you got one of them?
Mm-hmm. I got me a little PS5. I've been playing a little PS5. They got this one game, Demon's Souls. And motherfucker, first of all, this game is good, but this game is fucking hard. I have to sit there and use I haven't had to do a walkthrough. I usually just fucking play games and shit, whatever.
Yeah.
I got to do a walkthrough for this shit. Get the walkthrough, figure out exactly what to do so I don't get fucking killed. When you die, you die. There's no checkpoint.
No, you go all the way back to the beginning?
Pretty much. I couldn't even get past the first level. Every single time I get close, it's and I die, I'm like, fuck, I'm back at the fucking beginning again. It's hilarious, but it is fun to play. I'm just learning how to get like I'm not a gamer, so like all this shit is new to me. I'm just trying to kill shit,
Hmm.
but I'm like, God damn, I'm dying. Like I have a strategy and everything.
See,
Shit is
that's too much work for me.
shit. I
Like
well,
when I play video games, like I don't want to have to exert that much energy and get all pissed off.
yeah,
Like I
well,
want it to be relaxing. I just want to like play this game and like, just whatever, take it off. So like I enjoy video games,
yeah,
but I don't enjoy them to the point where I need to like beat the game on legendary. Like to me, I don't need that sense of accomplishment. I can beat the game on easy and be just fine. And then like once I get to medium, if I start to get frustrated, I'll be like, nope, I just give up.
well. I want to get past this first fucking section here. I feel like if I get past this first like deal, like it'll be okay, like it'll be chill. But I was like, damn, this is hard. Like I didn't realize how hard this was. It's good though. Like I mean, it's a good ass game. I mean, I'm just waiting for some of these other ones to come out, like the MLB game. I'm waiting for that to come out. I'm waiting for like I'm playing Madden.
Okay.
Like I'm playing Madden now because I was bored. Like I went some sports games, but MLB hasn't come out yet, so
Right.
that's the game I really want to play. And they got some other good games I was looking forward to, but they're not out yet. But yeah, I got like 3 games right now, and I've only touched 2 of them, so I haven't touched the third yet. But it is, I mean, it's quiet. That's the one thing I noticed. The PS5,
You mean like when it runs and stuff?
yes, it's quiet
Okay.
as fuck. And
Interesting.
like I didn't realize how quiet it was until I was like, it's on. Yeah,
Mhm.
like right now it's on.
You're waiting for that shit to like boot up and be like,
Yeah, like you hear that, like you like even the
oh
PS4
yeah.
runs like you hear that motherfucker like a little
Hmm.
bit
Yeah, you
like
hear, when you hit the button on
yeah
the controller to turn it on, you'll hear like
yeah. Nah,
all
you
that
don't hear
shit.
shit on this bitch.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's big and heavy. It
Just
like
like me.
it it is much bigger and much heavier than any of the call. It's the biggest console I've ever seen.
I've heard that before.
Hey, it is though. It's like bigger than all the other ones that have ever come before it, for
Now,
sure.
does it have just as big of a uh, like a hard drive in it, like more space for the
Oh yeah.
games that you don't have
Oh,
to do like the external shit?
oh yeah. It's a lot of shit. I don't think you can do that shit with this.
You can't get an external on
I
that.
don't. Well, maybe you can get a external hard drive on it. Maybe, but like
I feel like you have to because some of these people buy like
they do
almost
like
every
a
game
bajillion
out there,
games. I mean, it's
and
a.
you can't store it all on the
I
hard
believe
drive.
it's a tera or so
Mm.
of.
Well, it should be
Yeah, I
a
mean, it should be
sizable amount
sufficient.
then.
I mean, you have like 50 gigabytes in a game tops, right? Usually, about 50 or
It
so.
depends.
Yeah. So 50, 60. I mean, that's a solid amount of games you can fucking fit on that motherfucker with a terabyte. I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna play that many games at the same fucking time. Like, I don't have that type of like capacity to like, hey, I'm gonna go watch this game and this game and this game. Like, I don't fucking do that shit. So
Yeah. It's just annoying to me. Like if I do want to try to start another game, then I got to like delete a game to like upload another
yeah,
game.
you're not gonna be able to do that here. I mean, unless you get past 10 games. Like you got 10 plus games on there, like full ass games, and yeah, maybe you would. But like I'm not. If I'm on my 10th game, like I'm probably not gonna play that first game. Like if I got all the way up to 10,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna play that other game. I'm over it. Like I'm like the other even PS4. I don't think I had 10 games on there. There's no fucking way. I was like, there's no way. I just don't. I don't game like that. Like I wanted to have. I haven't even explored it like I should. I haven't even explored it like I should. So I'm still not on that level. But yeah, no, it's pretty dope. I mean, I just haven't touched it too much. I still have one controller. The controller is real cool. Like I mean, I like the grip on it, and it's real sensitive. Like all you can really feel every little thing that things do. Like it's really
Okay.
cool. That's like I think it's my favorite part. Like you can really feel all that shit. Yeah, but it's huge. Like I can't stress how big it is. It's fucking
Yeah.
big. It's two.
All right.
It's like two PS4s together. Like it's crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And not the slims, like the actual.
No, like the big motherfuckers. The
Okay.
regular ass ones. They're big. It's big, man. I'm just when I look at it, I'm like, motherfucker. I got sitting upright because that bitch is long.
Hey.
8'8". I would say it's. I mean, I guess the biggest one was the PS3, right? That was the bulkiest one out of all of them. The Xbox was pretty big. I mean,
I mean,
original Xbox was big.
Xbox. Yeah, original Xbox was bulky as shit.
Yeah, it might be. The Xbox might be thicker than this bitch, but I don't know. That bitch is heavy. I was like, what the fuck is in here?
Yeah, the
They
original
got a
Xbox
whole ass bitch in here. Like it's PS5, they got a whole bitch in here. Got a whole ass pregnant bitch. That's what it looks
Jesus.
like. You got another bitch and a bitch. It's I just don't. I don't know what's going on.
Your pregnant is pregnant.
Yeah, it's intense. I wasn't ready for it, but to start this fucking show off, man. Like I didn't know how I was gonna start this off, but then like, dude, Deshaun Watson. Have you seen this shit?
No, I've literally been living under a rock,
dude. Look
for the past like 2 weeks.
Fucking look up Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
like, Deshaun ain't gonna play. You feel me? Like, Deshaun ain't gonna play today. Like, all this shit about him wanting to get traded and all this bullshit. All that whining and shit. The Texas not hot. Like, he not gonna want to play no more. He ain't gonna play at all. He not playing this year.
Do you think he's gonna be?
I mean, counting on it. He might not play for a couple years. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Do you think he'll be back?
This motherfucker went from a Hall of Fame career to no career in like a fucking blink of an eye. 16 lawsuits. It started out like, I mean, it's growing by the day. It was like 10 2 days ago. Before that, it was like 5. It's 5, 10, 12, 16 now. Like,
Yeah.
It's been growing and growing and growing, and it ain't stopping.
But it is, I mean, even though I guess it's at 16, just from the little bit I've read so far, it is saying that some of it seems like it's not true. But I mean, if you got here's the thing, like just in any of those things,
yes.
If you got 16 people coming out and saying relatively the same thing,
yes.
Unless they're in some kind of like cult or something together, you know what I mean? Like that they're all
on the man hater Deshaun Watson club.
Yeah, like some weird thing.
Yeah.
That they're all on the same page. Like maybe not all of I can't speak to it. You know, I'm literally just finding this out today.
Right.
Like right now. But maybe some of them are not.
Oh no, that's with everything. Then, I don't believe everything that like anytime I see like 16, like remember like Bill Cosby had like a shit ton.
Oh yeah, like it kept going. Like because there are some people who are just money chasers.
Yeah, yes, and
like there are. As sad as that is, there are some people who will try to take advantage.
I'm talking about half. I think half of these aren't true. I think about half of these are not.
And it's just the thing is, it's just a shame for the people who actually did go through it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because then it is delegitimizing their claims.
That's exactly right.
For the people that did go through this shit and the people who are just trying to hop on and get some money, it's doing more harm to those people who actually went through some shit like that.
Correct.
Which that's the shame of it. Like, you know what I mean?
There are these circumstances where like I read like some stuff like he forced me to give him a blowjob. And like even though, like, yes, you can force somebody to give you a blowjob, but that's one of the harder things to do because you can bite on their dick. Like you can make it extremely uncomfortable for them to do so. Like I'm thinking about like yeah, you got to give me head now, and like she'll be like okay, like, and then later she'll be like I didn't really want to do that, like I'm like I think there's one moment of that I'm like those are the ones like in that sense I'm like did he force you, or were you just in a comfortable situation? You felt like you had to do
Right.
that, like,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then I'm like, and that's the line that's tiptoeing, and I'm not saying
It's a hard
when I'm thinking about
judge
those,
of that.
right,
Yeah.
like, and of course a woman would be like, yes, of course you can. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, I understand.
Because
I'm
here's the
thinking about
thing
a
is like,
jury and like, or like the people are, the lawsuits. Like, I'm thinking about it
yeah.
on that level. Like, are they going to give a lawsuit based off of a girl trying to give, like, saying she was forced to give head? That's very hard to do with one person doing
Well,
this thing.
well, because you can also in this situation you can also classify force in a couple different ways. Like there's physical force,
Right.
you know what I mean, which like and that's if he physically forced it to happen. But with his stature, just in the world as a
Mm-hmm.
top NFL player,
Right.
there's also just kind of like it's not a physical force, but it's that force of, well, okay, he's this well-known celebrity. It's
Right.
almost like a power sort of thing, where
Right.
like that force, even though it's not physical, there's like that force over somebody else. Like that's why that shit in like the workplace happens with
Right.
bosses
Oh,
and
all the
employees
time.
and shit. Because even though the boss might not force the person to do whatever it is, if you don't do it, then it usually doesn't end up well for you, or you're thinking about something else in relationship to your job or in relation to whatever. So like the person could have felt forced because they wanted to be like, well, I don't really want to do this, but if I do go through with this, then I think I'll get XYZ out of it, even though
Right.
I'm not comfortable with doing it
Correct.
because of his position just in society,
Sure.
as an elite NFL quarterback.
Correct.
Like, like it's like you just even go back to high school and think of like, quarterback of the football team pretty much could get whatever they wanted.
Whatever
You
they
know what I
want.
mean?
Right.
It's like
And that's true.
the quarterback of all quarterbacks.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
And it's so
like,
interesting, and it's a very interesting concept for me, just because I think all these happen in like massage type situations.
oh,
Like, I think that's a lot of this shit was like he was like getting massages, and then I guess he thought it was going to be a little extra, and I guess some of them are like, nah. Like, some of them are straight up like, no.
so he was going to like where Robert Kraft would go.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they were. I think he thought he was going where Robert Kraft was going. Maybe you should call him first,
Yeah,
because they weren't going to the same places.
because he got the real deal.
Yeah, he got the real deal. He didn't he didn't do the oh, I didn't think it was this place. I'm just confusing the whole thing. Like, I'm confused with Deshaun Watson, because he's still like a young motherfucker, but like I'm just confused with Deshaun knowing today's society to even put yourself in that position is like a
Sure,
weird thing for me.
but yeah, I get that. But at the same time, like a lot of these athletes, especially the ones who are good at a young age and come into these places, don't have the experience to really grow up.
No, I know.
You know what I mean?
It's
So
just,
like,
but
I'm sure
I
he
just
just
think the
thought,
society, like, I mean, I know these guys come up and they have these coaches, and like, cause they have like these seminars, like when they're rookies, they have, I know for a fact they do, they have like all these seminars for rookie, like the do's and don'ts and shit of like, and I know that had been popped up,
like code of conduct and
yeah,
shit like
keep
that.
your fucking hands to yourself. Like,
Yeah, but here's the thing: is like even some of them coaches are not the best examples.
oh,
To
for
be,
sure.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
depending on who you're underneath, as far as like coaching or as far as anybody else is concerned, like some of that shit is a little learned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like somebody just naturally doesn't come out of the womb and be like, I'm gonna
No,
force you to do
listen,
this today.
I'm sure Deshaun did not think of this himself. Somebody told
Yeah.
him, "Hey, man, you should get some massages." You know what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And
Yeah.
then like he was like, "Oh, well, fuck it, maybe I should." Like,
Like
and-
this whole thing looks like it's stressing you out. You
Yeah.
should.
right? Like, I don't know. Like, like to the point where you have this many women, it's just not a good look. To the point where
Oh God. No.
this motherfucker is not gonna play. Ben Roethlisberger had like 2 girls. This motherfucker got 16. Like, and we're just in the world right now where the 16 is gonna turn into more. I can't
Well,
imagine.
and also we're at a time where this
Yeah.
is way more.
This is a whole different vibe.
It's way more. vilified's not the right word because that means it's like not supposed to happen. But I guess like people are more apt to call you out on your shit now than back when Ben Roethlisberger was doing that.
Yeah, who's the last NFL player to like sexually assault a girl?
Oh. That's a great question.
I gotta look that up really quick.
There's
been a lot of different things. There's been DUIs. There's been spousal abuses.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ray Rice punched a bitch in the elevator.
There's been spousal abuse.
Like you usually hear more about like the physical abuse and shit like that of a partner, not just like not like some Bill Cosby shit. You know,
right?
Like that's kind of what this is without the drugging part.
Right. This is like I feel like this is pretty unique. Like in the NFL, it's not. I hear less about this in the NFL than anything else. We've had a lot of shit. We've had murders, dog murders, abuse, like all different types of shit, but not like sexual assault. Like I barely Ben Roethlisberger is the only thing that's sexual harassment slash assault.
And that's sexual harassment.
Yeah. I think it was just. I mean, I guess it was. I guess it was like a low grade sexual assault because they were. I guess he groped them or felt them up or something like that.
Yeah,
which is it's like a. I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm just saying, like, as far as the law goes, that's
also compared to what compared to what Deshaun's been accused of doing.
Yeah, and it seems like an habitual pattern. That's what makes me nervous. It's like.
Because there's some consistency with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, it's all different shit. It's like,
I mean, I think the last guy is
there's
Kobe
a little
Bryant,
consistency.
Right? Kobe Bryant?
Mm.
That's the last guy?
It could be.
Tiger got in trouble, but it had nothing to do with that. It was more like he was just sleeping around, being a weirdo. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? That was his...
Yeah.
That was his vibe. That was his deal. But, like, sexual assault is, like, a whole fucking other thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't imagine him being in the fucking league for like years. He's gonna be like Josh Gordon, who's never coming back in the league. I think he's done. So, like, I don't know if there's a place for that in society right now. And I just like
no, like, and I don't think there will be.
No,
either.
I'm just saying, like, for me, like, I don't know, like, I'm saying, like, as far as like forgiveness goes, or like coming back to redeem yourself type of situation.
Well, and these are two different situations, but I mean, if Colin Kaepernick hasn't been able to come back at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
And all he did was kneel.
I mean, Deshaun, the thing is that they make way for great players. Like, people literally kill folks and they came back. Like, they'll make way for great players somehow.
Yeah, they will make it. They will make exceptions.
They will make exceptions. You know how many times, like, Josh Gordon? How many times they give Josh Gordon a chance? They gave Josh Gordon at least 8 chances, and he still fucked every one of them.
He's been on a comeback tour for like 5 years now.
And the reason they kept bringing him back is because he was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was great.
Yeah, he could have been a Hall of Famer if he actually played.
I 100% believe that in my soul. And I just don't know what Deshaun is gonna do, like, with his, because they can void his contract. They don't have to worry about shit. I'm sure that fucking if this comes back any type of which way, but other than innocent completely.
Yeah, if there's any kind of lawsuit or anything, I'm sure they can just be like, nope, bye, see ya.
I bet you they're hoping they figure it out before the fucking draft comes through, so they draft a quarterback.
Well, that, or especially if they were looking to trade him anyway. Now nobody's going to take him. They should have just dumped him when they had the chance.
Listen, I would try to trade him right now with that whole ass contract. Be like, here, take it.
Well, I was going to say that, you know, it would be like the Texans to be like, okay, now we'll trade him.
Yep.
It's like, no, too late.
Too late now. I
should have done it earlier.
Yeah, I
you got rid of everybody else.
In the contract, like, at some point, like, it's like a criminal fucking offense thing. I don't know. It's a lawsuit more so than like actual, like, a trial for that. I'm surprised they're not.
But I mean, they have
route.
they have to hear the. You know, they have to hear the sides and then decide whether it is merited. Because then he has to be charged. Like, he hasn't been charged with anything.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm surprised. I'm like, usually you go that route and then the lawsuits come second. Usually they go through charging and shit, and if they can't get it done in that courtroom, they go the personal way, try to get that money instead.
But I think because there was no, I think.
Is it past the limit? Like, is it past it? Because it's not rape. I don't
Yeah,
think
I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how it all works, but I think maybe because there's no sort of like I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like as far as like evidence goes, because I don't think you can try somebody without evidence. So if somebody just brings this up, now it's like, okay, we're looking into this lawsuit. So now we have to look into evidence. And it's like, we'll prove this lawsuit should be something. And then this is where you go and like, get the testimonies, you get all that other shit, and then see if there is a case to be built on the lawsuit. Yeah. That's what I'm assuming is happening with all this.
Any matter of telling so the DA is like not saying anything about until criminal charges are being filed. Like they're just I think they're just waiting and seeing for real. NFL is for sure waiting. They're like, because they don't want to.
Well, yeah, because he's one of their stars. Yeah, he's one of their stars. Money unless shit hits the fan, they will wait.
Yes, they're going to wait to the very bitter end. I said, please I swear, even if he gets off like on some other shit, he'll be like they're gonna let him in. Like if it's like,
oh yeah,
if it's like you're guilty as fuck and all this weird shit comes out, texts and all this. Because
I think that's what they're diving for in the lawsuits. Yeah. They're probably going to now start looking into text records, phone records, all that kind of shit, and then see, if there is any kind of case to be made, or if there's not a case to be made, then this is all just whatever, and then they could either they could just be looking for settlements, or it just gets thrown out.
Well. We're going to keep you updated on this because it's something that it's caught me off guard last week. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, at first it was just like one. I said, that's weird. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it just started growing and growing. I said, oh, no.
Now there's a lot. Like, once it starts to get, like, as Schoolhouse Rock said, 3 is the magic number. For me, so like if it starts to get to 3 or more, then it's like now we've developed a pattern.
You cross the threshold, and we can't go back from that. Like, you can't do it. But yeah, I had like this whole quarterback like thing happening. He was like 3rd on the list, but now he's number 1 because of all this weird shit. But Drew Brees retired. Mm-hmm. He gone
officially. He's officially retired now.
It is now Mike Burton official. Clink.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. I mean, we could talk about his career, but obviously he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Mm-hmm.
His arm fell off. Like, just couldn't throw the ball anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like his body of work speaks for itself. The only thing is for as great as he was, he had only that one Super Bowl.
Yep, he had one Super Bowl, no MVPs.
Which is very strange.
Yeah.
To me, because when you think of like the GOAT type quarterbacks, those are multiple MVPs. Mm-hmm. Maybe not multiple Super Bowls, but definitely multiple MVPs and all that kind of shit. So like it's sort of like an anomaly to me that we consider like, and I'm not trying to, like degrade his accomplishments because sure. I mean what he's done, it's on paper he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. There's no discussion about it, whatever. But I just find it interesting that of all these other ones we consider, like Tom Brady, multiple time MVP, like when you think of Joe Namath, who's got all those kind of accolades and shit, and then Drew Brees, who is in GOAT conversation. One Super Bowl, no MVPs. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Joe was in a weird. He was a weird era there. But,
sure, but I mean, when you just think of like those type of quarterbacks, like they've got the hardware to prove it. Whereas Drew Brees doesn't really have a whole lot of hardware to prove that he was as great as he was. He's got the numbers. He's got numbers and all that shit. But
I mean,
as far as like
yard
looking in the trophy case, not a whole lot doing.
Not a whole lot.
You look in the trophy case of some of the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got a room. They got a room full of accolades
they got a lot of
that
space
they can
there.
hang their hat in.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, he's definitely there. I just think he's had some great years. It's just that some other like the years that he's had great years, others have been better or just as good.
But he's had the thing is he's been consistently at that level. You know, when he was doing it, he was consistently like he may not have been the best quarterback every year, but that's because a different person was the best every year.
Right.
But he was always there.
Yeah,
like the thing is, he was always there.
About two or three every year.
Yeah, he was always top 3. So like just being that good consistently,
right?
That's what'll get him there.
Yep.
But I've just always, you know, I just found that interesting.
Like he thought he was going to win that one year that Patrick Mahomes had that monster year. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, he just fucking came out of nowhere.
Can't give Brees that shit. Even though you wanna, but you can't. You can't do it.
Right.
So he's left without one. That's interesting. I just find it fascinating. That type of shit can happen. Like even in the NFL, like, you know, as far as because he's always in the top whatever of quarterbacks.
Yep.
He's got So that's Drew Brees. He had a lot of volume. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of volume. Like a lot of yards. A lot of shit. Like, I mean, I watched him probably more than any other quarterback besides Matt Ryan play. You know what I mean? Because he's in my division.
Yeah, I was going to say, you watch him play twice a year.
Yeah.
For pretty much his whole career.
And for me, he was extremely smart. Like, he extremely smart, extremely accurate. He knew how to use his running backs as pass catchers more often than any other quarterback, I think. He was really... So
now here's my question. Though.
Yeah.
Because this is going to feed off of what we kind of witnessed this past season, whether, you know, it was the coaching system or whether it was the player themselves. Yeah. Obviously, we saw with Tom Brady that even though he walked into a really great situation, it wasn't like a shitty coaching, you know, team situation there.
Yeah.
He got away from Belichick, and he still won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Whereas Belichick's over here kind of holding a handful of shit.
Right.
And, like, didn't really take the team anywhere.
Yeah.
If Drew Brees had that opportunity to prove himself without Sean Payton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how much of Drew Brees' success could be attributed to Sean Payton?
I think it's a different thing because Sean Payton is an offensive guy. He's an offensive genius.
Well, that's why I think it's even more relevant.
Right. I think without
because obviously Drew Brees has to execute it. Like, that's the thing. You know,
Drew Brees was great in San Diego. It's not like he wasn't good in San Diego. He was a good he was a good player in San Diego. I mean, he wasn't as good. I mean, they felt they could draft Phillip Rivers or Eli Manning, whoever they decided.
That's what I'm saying. They drafted Eli Manning thinking that Drew Brees isn't going to be better than Eli Manning coming in.
That's what they thought.
You know, and then it got flip-flopped, and then they still got Phillip Rivers, and then they're still like, well, okay, we're fine going this direction, where, like, when you look at it, you know, Drew Brees is clearly above both of them.
Yes.
Like, it's not even close.
Right, and I think that does a lot. It has to do with Sean Payton.
But we also know how the Chargers have been, because even with how good Phillip Rivers was, that shit was just a mess.
Yeah. I mean, he really... Like, so let's give an example here. So he left San Diego at 26. He went 24-15. Okay. That's what it's for. 24 touchdowns, 15 INTs for about 3,600 yards.
Okay.
That was it. That was his stat line. About 223 yards per game. As soon as he gets to New Orleans, it's about the same completion percentage, but now it's 4,418 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And then as we continue on, he had a couple high INT years, like 18 picks, 17 picks, 22 picks, 19 picks. all along this time, but he's had 40 touchdown years. Then all of a sudden he gets in the 5,000s, like, 2 years after. Once he gets really acclimated in the system with Sean Payton, there's 5,000 yards come, and then all of a sudden he's just hitting that mark like on a pretty consistent basis. After a while,
Right.
I think it has a lot to do with Sean Payton, because they didn't really miss a beat when he left. That's the thing.
No, I mean that's the clearest indicator.
He didn't,
Because I mean even
anything.
when he was in, because he had a couple of these past years he went out with injury.
Yeah.
And they still were just hanging around.
Yeah.
I mean they threw Taysom Hill in there. He did just as well. Like he wasn't losing them the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just.
Well, I mean, he got more efficient as the years went by. Like, he threw less picks because he got a lot smarter. He was smarter and smarter and smarter, so he's throwing a lot less picks. But also, on top of that, he's throwing the ball way less. And then on top of that,
shorter distances.
Yeah, shorter distance, and literally the ball. He's throwing the ball way less from age 37 to 38, from 2016 to 2017. He threw the ball, and he played the same amount of games. He threw the ball 117 times less, or 130. No, I did the math wrong, but 130 something, 137 something like that yards less, 130 times less than he did the year before. So I mean that's a considerable amount, like just a drop off, and then it was less and less each year after that, because he was hurt, and B, he's old. So there's a considerable drop off in how in the approach. I think, again, Sean Payton is a genius. He knows. He's like, yeah, this motherfucker's losing it, but he's still efficient. He can still get the ball where I need him to get it. So I'm gonna go use him for a while. And he really likes Taysom Hill. And I know Jameis Winston was to start, but I don't know if he's gonna trust Jameis Winston to start this year.
But do you really think he's gonna? Because
I just can't imagine. Like, I know he's really good with quarterbacks, but the decision making is his fucking Achilles heel.
Yeah.
He can't decision make well.
But do you think Taysom Hill is like an actual starting quarterback?
No, I don't. Not unless he goes to the Josh Allen school of fucking miracles. Like,
yeah.
Like, otherwise, like, I don't see it. But I mean, I've been wrong before. So I don't think he's a starting quarterback. I think he's a nice gadget guy.
I mean, that's kind of what I see is he is more of like
supposed to be.
That gadgety type guy. Yeah.
That's what Tim
But you don't use him. You don't use him all the time, but you bring him in and.
Right.
Yeah.
And he retired. Tim
Who?
Tebow.
Yes.
He didn't make it to the majors.
No.
Never made it. He got as far as Michael Jordan did. Went to Double-A.
Yeah.
That's a shame. But yeah, I just the legacy's there because that's how most of these like Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. Like, would Joe Montana be shit without Bill Walsh? I don't know. Bill Walsh had the most innovative fucking. We had the West Coast offense. He's the guy who fucking made it. He's the guy who invented it.
That's true.
So, like, would Joe Montana be Joe Montana if he didn't have Bill Walsh?
Sure.
Those are the things. I mean,
it's all relevant questions because you think of it. Most of those great quarterbacks had great coaches.
Yeah.
It's hard to have one of those really great quarterbacks without a great coach behind him. Absolutely. And even sometimes you have a great coach and the quarterback's not as good and they're still looking great. Like, in my mind, Ben Roethlisberger. He started with Bill Cowher.
Yep.
Great coach. Ended up getting a Super Bowl, like, pretty much right when he started. Mm. And then Mike Tomlin, who I know Pittsburgh fans have kind of had his head on a stick for a little bit, but I think at this point he's proved himself.
Yep.
Going through stuff 100%. Without Roethlisberger.
Oh, yeah.
So,
100%. Yeah, and so I'm gonna give an example with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron Rodgers has always been really, really good. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's always been a really good quarterback, great quarterback. Like he's already in the Hall of Fame, like that type of shit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
One and like, now looking at the coaching examples, like on the flip side, I don't know if that's where you're going with it, but
No, because like I'm checking out like his stats just from this year.
mm-hmm.
He has his highest completion percentage ever, his highest touchdown ever, and his INTs are about the same, along with all the other shit. He won the MVP, right? That's his third
Mm-hmm.
MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So we have all of these things, and this is second year with his new coach. Now this new coach can ride him until you know he goes off to pasture because he probably has about two or three solid good years left because he's not like I wouldn't say he's injury prone, but he misses games from time to time. I can just see
Sure.
his body breaking down based off of how he plays the game. But yeah, he has those every now and then. Like every 2 or 3 years, he gets hurt or whatever, and he's out for a while. But just seeing like the fall off. Who did he have before? He had fucking McCarthy, right?
Yeah. And look what happened with the Cowboys.
Yeah. So McCarthy, he was good with McCarthy. It's not like he wasn't
Absolutely.
good, but at the same time, as soon as get him with a coach that knows his skill set, knows what he's doing, surprise, like he fucking ripped shit up. Like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He ripped shit up again, and like he ripped shit up in 2011 too. But he was young as fuck. That was 10 years prior.
Right.
Like, like you know what I mean? Like 10 years prior. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
expect him to rip that shit up when he's fucking in his prime. He's in his prime years at that 28, 29, 30 years old. You're supposed to go rip that shit up right then. Not at 20, not at 37, 38. You're not supposed to rip it up then. Like
Right.
that's not the time you're throwing 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions at 37. That shit's not happening. So
Right.
like when you find those right meshes and those right coaches and that you guys are clicking, then therefore those things can happen. Like just the same thing with Kyle Shanahan and Matt Ryan. Like all of a sudden he found a fucking quarterback and he hasn't found that shit since then, Kyle Shanahan or Matt Ryan. Like you know what I mean? But they came
Right.
together, boom, fireworks, they made love and had like a fucking quarterback child MVP that fucking out of this world year. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
just as far as efficiency sake goes, and just it's insane. But like that's the type of shit that you need. It you need those hookups, and sometimes like they don't see it. Like even if Kyle Shanahan was like, because Kyle Shanahan wanted a coach, he wanted a head coaching job, and that's why
Right.
he left. He wanted a head coaching job, understandable, right? But he thought he could probably recreate what he did in Atlanta, and he almost did, kind of, like in a different
Mm-hmm.
way, obviously, because he didn't have the quarterback. But like, they got to the Super Bowl, you know, they got to the Super Bowl, and he has. I don't think they're going to go back anytime soon. But you need that chemistry. Like, boom, we made magic, and like to find that is very, very rare. And that's what Sean Payton and Drew Brees did. And I don't know if he's ever going to have a quarterback to do the numbers that Drew Brees did, but I think Sean Payton will be comparable and have like a decent quarterback, depending on who he's picking. Though it's not like like I said, I don't think Taysom Hill's the dude at all, and maybe he thinks he can fix Jameis Winston. Don't know. I mean, this is gonna be his final resting place if he can't. I don't see him going anywhere else.
No.
This
Yeah.
will be do or die for him. Personally, I think. So I think they're gonna give him a shot, an opportunity to go ahead and be quarterback. But yeah, I think I have no faith in Jameis because it's his decision making. Like that's hard to like unlearn. Like that whole like I gotta throw it over. I gotta throw it out here. Like I don't remember any quarterbacks going from like that type of situation to like fucking all world. I just
Yeah.
I don't I haven't seen it. So it's he has good skills. It's just he's going to throw 20 interceptions a year. That's what he's going to do. He's going to turn the ball over a shit ton of times. And yeah, that's the type of quarterback that motherfucker is.
Right.
Fitzy, this is a great pickup for Washington. Like,
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I think it's a phenomenal pickup because it gives him time to get like a quarterback, and like he's going to be one of those guys who grooms him. But they're not going to get a quarterback who's going to start over him in any like for the past next year. They have the nice little backup guy who played very well against Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah, Heineke. Right.
Yeah, my man Heineke. I don't know how good he actually is. That could have just been like a let's get one for him and like play your ass off type of situation against the big bad Tampa Bay Bucks and shit like that.
Well, maybe they'll give him a chance.
I mean, he's definitely going to have opportunity. He's definitely going to have an opportunity to play for his position. If I know Ron Rivera, it'll definitely be up for grabs. And yeah, they're picking up other folks over there in Washington too. I can't remember who else they picked up. It's a good pickup.
Well, that's because I think they know. I think they realize that they've got some really good young players.
They got a
on
good
both
defense.
sides of the ball.
They got some nice young. They got a nice little squad there, and they got a nice head coach now to fuck around with them. So like,
yeah,
that's the thing. You need a head.
You gotta get all that shit right. That's the thing. You gotta get all that shit right.
Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't know Ryan Kerrigan was trying to leave. Damn.
Yeah.
Ryan, they better snatch him back up. Ryan Kerrigan is good. I know he's getting old though. I guess he's getting old. And is Cam back with y'all?
Yep.
God damn.
It's another one of those. Just whatever. Let's see what happens.
Damn. I'm surprised. I was surprised.
I wasn't.
I mean,
I wasn't super surprised.
I'm just like, y'all can't start him again though, right?
That's the thing is I unless we don't get a better option, whether it's through the draft or whatever else is going on, then probably. But
yeah. I mean, you see Andy Dalton with the Bears. They got everybody over there now.
yeah, they have enough just okay options.
Yep. I said all three of you guys either pick. We got the backup to the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
We got the backup king, Super Bowl winner, and you got Andy Dalton.
Yep.
Red Rocket.
Come on, boy. Come on, boy. Red Rocket.
Oh no! But yeah, I just think it's all fast. Like the moving around of these QBs during the off season is just like fascinating to me. Like,
are there still any rumblings about Russell Wilson too?
I think
because that was rampant for a little bit.
That is just, to me, that's just the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Like just for the rumblings, like
it would be dumb. It would be dumb of them to do something.
I mean,
and get rid of him.
I get like, hey, Russell might be like not happy I'm getting fucking killed back here, but like,
then make him happy. God damn it! Like that's the thing.
Motherfucker, dude's a star. Bodies over there, so he's sitting there protected. You see some of these motherfuckers out here. Like with Dallas when they got everybody healthy and shit, just sitting back there fucking chilling.
Yeah,
like you see motherfuckers out here chilling.
Yeah, like, they made Dominic DiNucci look like a freaking stud quarterback. Yeah. Or not Dominic DiNucci, Jesus, whatever the Cowboys' fourth string quarterback
he had like
was.
8 strings over there. I can't remember that motherfucker. Yeah. That's what I mean.
They picked up off like from the Hess station or whatever. I don't know what the fuck they did.
Like, you just get him a motherfucking line. Like, that's all. Like, I mean, I know it's
just give him some protection.
Get him protection.
Doesn't have to be everything. Just give him something so he doesn't get waffled.
Stupid. He should be with He hasn't missed a game. He should not be with you. He should be with you his entire career. He has yet to miss a game. That's just silly as fuck.
No, just wait.
It's silly as fuck. If I see this motherfucker trade, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I wouldn't, only if he comes to me. I'll lose my shit in a good way. I'll be like, yes, oh my god,
right? Like to me, I'm just like Seattle. Come on now.
It would be stupid for them to do that though. That would be incredibly dumb, especially since now they're actually giving him some weapons on the offense.
Yeah.
Because now he's got like a good receiving core. Running back's not bad. But Seattle always usually has decent running backs. And the defense is starting to get better.
Yeah, Seattle's going to be there. Like, I don't know. It's
just with Russell Wilson as quarterback, they'll be there. They'll be there. It doesn't matter who's there.
That trade shit, y'all better stop. Like I said, like, who are you trading for picks? You want all the picks? What kind of picks you want? Like, even if you get all the picks in the fucking world, like, this shit doesn't matter. Like, half these quarterbacks are going to suck. That's just reality. Like, all these motherfuckers everybody's touting, this is just like, all these motherfuckers. I know Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the dude. That dude could shit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
They could all shit the bed. All of them could shit the bed. Like, and we're sitting here like, oh, they were all not good. Or one's injury prone, one's a head case.
Or they could be good. They could be good for a year or two, and then all of a sudden they fall off.
They fall off. You see it happen all the time.
Sometimes that happens all the time with these guys.
All the time because they're like, oh,
year or two they're good, then the book's out, and that's it.
Yep. As soon as they get a game plan on them, and you can't adjust, then you're fucked. It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It happens way too often because these guys don't know how to adjust. Like, this is their game, and there's no multifaceted to their game. Like, once they figure out their game, then they're fucked. Like, you gotta, like, oh, this is what he does. Oh, that's easy. Like, we got you. Just like the guys coming up from the majors, just like any pitcher or any hitter, even. Like, for a while, they're mashing home runs and shit, and then all of a sudden they throw them some other shit they haven't seen, and then, they're striking out a shit ton. Like, it happens all the time. Or some dudes striking dudes out, and they see how he's tipping pitches or the way he's throwing shit because they got all the angles and shit, banging on trash cans, whatever the fuck, and
facts.
And then that's it. Like that's
because the minor leaguers can only throw so much or can only hit so well. So then you get to the major leagues where it is the best of the best, and that's where you get figured out.
Right. For a while, you're like, oh, the shit, this motherfucker's coming with the shit. And then you look at this. Oh, he only hits. We've been throwing him this pitch. Let's see if he can hit this pitch.
That's how Aaron Judge was.
Yeah.
He was just mashing shit. Then all of a sudden they started throwing him curveballs to the outside.
Yep.
All of a sudden he's swinging and missing everything.
Throwing junk at him. And it's just that sometimes it's just like a baseball. Like, you just gotta adjust. Like, oh, I can't, like, as a football player. If your game is, first of all, if your game is not anticipation as a quarterback, you're going to struggle. Like,
yes.
If you're not anticipating the throws, you're going to struggle. Like, if you're not reading, if you're not going through your reads, you're going to struggle. Like, even if you get sacked 40 times, like, if you're not doing that shit, you're going to struggle. That's why pocket quarterbacks last so fucking long in the league, man. Like, yeah. It's because they're anticipating throws and they can fucking throw it. It has nothing to do with athleticism. Fucking Tom Brady's the slowest motherfucker on the planet. He's the slowest motherfucker.
He is.
Like, he's so fucking slow. He's slower than Peyton Manning on the 40. Peyton Manning.
He's got a big forehead.
Yeah. Fucking awkward, 6'6", big ass, weird ass body. Mm-hmm. Ran a faster 40 than Tom Brady did.
Yep.
But yeah, this motherfucker's still in the league. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying that's the way, but I'm saying you have to have that as a part of your game. You got to be able to anticipate the throws. So when there's truly nothing there, and then you scramble out, then it's a surprise. Oh, look at you scrambling. Or you can scramble just to fuck with them every now and then, but like that can't just be your entire game. Or just being a fucking they're just gonna fucking sling it all the time. That can't be a part of your game. It just can't be. You have to be able to read a defense. You got to be able to read a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're gonna struggle. Like Josh Allen is learning his shit. He's learning to stand in the pocket and throw the ball. But then he gets a little antsy. He gets antsy sometimes. But other than that,
he's still young.
He's still young. Super young. He makes me nervous in the playoffs. I see his face. I'm like, oh, you're gonna fuck up.
But yes. I mean, that was definitely this year. I think next year it'll be different.
I hope so. I just gotta look at his face and just see, like, are you ready?
He's gotta act like you've been there. That's the thing. You gotta act like you've been there. Now he's actually been there. Yeah. Like, now he's actually been there. He's won a game, like, you know.
Yeah, he's gotta fucking do it.
Like, you just gotta act like you've been there.
Oh, man.
And then once you've been there, then it gets easier.
Yeah, it's so much quarterback movement. I was like, damn, look at this shit. We gotta talk about this, especially with that fucking Deshaun shit. But man, so let's switch gears real quick. Let's talk about this Camper's Choice that went down in the underground.
Yes.
So let's
getting down in the underground.
Down in the underground, yeah. So yeah, let's have that talk, man. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was really good. I like your new ropes. I like your fucking mat. Your shit was looking fresh. Your shit was looking fire.
Yeah, since we got the exposure, camp's been able to do a little revamping. So we got a little bit of a new look here with our green and yellow going at it.
Hell yeah.
Got the frog on the canvas and everything. So yeah, a little bit different look once we came back outside.
Yeah. I'm digging it.
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
It is the weather for it. It's about to be an outside type of situation.
It is, yeah. A lot of camp stuff hopefully will be outside now. Mm-hmm. We don't have to be inside the Leapfrog Lodge anymore. At least for now. Once it gets cold, then probably gotta go back in. But
yeah, well, I don't think it'll be cold anytime soon. Now, I think it's gonna be. Well, I mean, it will, but I mean, it's edging towards the way of everything else. So the Camper's Choice happened this Saturday, all right, and then you got something else coming up.
Yeah. So what we announced after Camper's Choice, and hopefully you guys saw the video, the promo video, the little teaser on Twitter there. But what we've got coming up next month is what's called Frog Sport, which if you've ever heard the blood sport concept, like GCW's got that Josh Barnett's blood sport. And then just in general, like Bloodsport, the movie, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit.
Bolo,
right. Yeah, exactly. So we're bringing to you with our little spin on it called Frog Sport. And that'll be popping off in April. And there's going to be a lot of cool things with that. I'm just going to say that. There's going to be a lot of cool things. There's a lot of cool things that we're working on. I don't want to necessarily give a whole lot away now.
Don't.
As far as Frog Sport goes. But I think this is going to be I say this every fucking time, but it just always happens to be this way, that this is going to be different than what you've seen from us as far as like what you expect and what you know of Camp Leapfrog. There's still going to be things that you would expect and that you know and love about Camp Leapfrog. But this is a little bit of a different departure for us, going with more frog sport or the blood sport type style of things.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't wait to start rolling that out there as the next months are coming around. So stay tuned to everything Camp Leapfrog and High Tension Wrestling, and watch out for the Frog Sport thing. And if you haven't seen the teaser, go watch that teaser, because believe it or not, because it's called Matt Mikowski's Frog Sport, because Matt Mikowski has a lot of the background in that sort of like MMA style stuff. In fact, I didn't realize this. He competed in like the first couple the Bellator events.
Really?
I had no idea. I had no idea about that. Like, I didn't know he actually did Bellator. I knew he did MMA, and I knew he did some shit like that. But I guess he was like actually on the Bellator cards
No shit.
a couple times. So, but actually, in addition to being a pretty accomplished MMA fighter and obviously a big up and coming star in the professional wrestling world, but he's also a wonderful video editor because he put together that entire video.
That's dope.
He put that whole thing together. So he is a man of many hats.
Good shit, man.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting too because when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh man, this is pretty good. And I'm wondering like which one of the people on our team did that, and like because there's multiple people on our team that could do that shit,
Sure.
and then and then I find out that was Matt that did that. I was like, damn, what can't he do?
Right.
I was like, what can't he do? What can't he do?
No, he stood out to me immediately when I first saw like the first camp Leapfrog.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, who's this motherfucker? This motherfucker can wrestle. Like this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Like really knows the moves really well. Like everything he did, like those shit he like to get into an arm bar, like the shit he was doing, like was super dope.
Well, then you are going to love frog sport. That's all I gotta
Yes,
say.
I am.
You're gonna love it.
I'm just mad I wasn't there to be like Bolo. Just with his eye.
Yeah.
Fucking, I want to be that motherfucker. I wanna be Bolo Young.
You know what's crazy about that shit too? Just like sidetracking on the movie Bloodsport.
Okay.
The music to that shit, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, it's fire.
But
Yes,
you
sir.
can't find that shit on any streaming service.
What?
It's not on. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Apple Music.
Oh, you're talking about the. Oh, you're about to. Oh,
I'm talking
yeah.
about the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, you ain't gonna find the soundtrack.
Like I'm talking about like
I
trying
doubt
to find. I'm trying to find the fight to survive. Like that shit.
Yeah. No, that shit is fire.
You can't find it. You can only find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And like that's not even like the official
Yeah,
shit.
I don't
like
think
like
they even made a soundtrack for that, dude.
Oh, they absolutely did. They absolutely did because I looked it up.
Is
So I
it
was like,
there?
oh, maybe I can. No, you can't buy it on Apple. It exists
It
in like
exists in the
CD
world.
form and shit. It
Shit.
exists in the world. It exists.
It just hasn't been. It just hasn't been.
It's never been re-released or anything. Well, that and it's not available on any of the streaming platforms. So like that right there tells you how fucking rare it is. Even though like people remember that music, like people remember the ku mite ku mite ku mite. Like if they know the movie, you know that shit,
Hell yes.
right? Can't find it. Not on Apple Music. Not on Spotify. You can find it on YouTube, but somebody like pirated that shit on there and like put the whole soundtrack on it. But like it exists in the world. It's just like one of those. It's just I just found it so weird because like me, I like to dive into the music shit with things and whatever. So I was like trying to like get some inspiration for it, and I was looking for the thing, and I was like looking on Spotify. I was like, why can't I find this? Like I was finding like I looked up Bloodsport soundtrack, nothing. Apple Music Bloodsport soundtrack, nothing. Finally found it on YouTube, and like then I was like, okay, well maybe I can buy the physical CD. No, people are selling it on eBay and shit like that. Like it's like that. It's like one of those kind of things. Like it's like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It was I just thought that was. I
thought you meant like the movie. I said, no, man, I'm sure there's shit somewhere.
No, I'm talking about the soundtrack. I'm talking about the soundtrack, like the actual music to that shit.
That's it. That's. I mean, yeah, I do know that's fire. I mean, I love Bloodsport. It's like I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure. I love kung fu movies and shit. So like, that's just I like kung fu movies. So Bloodsport is on the list of a martial arts film that I fuck with for sure. Anything with Bolo in it, I'm a fuck with. That's facts.
Anything with Bolo.
Fucking anything with anything with Jean-Claude Van Damme, except for like maybe like the last like couple years, I'll fuck with.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
I mean, I am a big martial arts fan. I can watch those movies like on a daily basis. Honestly, I enjoy them greatly. But I try to settle it. I try to keep it to like once or twice a year. I have a kung fu night, a martial arts night, and drink and watch kung fu movies and eat Chinese food. All that shit. So yeah. Anyway, that's really really cool. I can't wait for that shit. And you don't have a set date for that yet? Just coming soon to a.
Well, here's what I will say
you.
is that it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a little different.
Uh-huh.
So there's not like a set date, but all I can say is April. I can tell you that it'll be in April.
Okay.
Like I said, we're gonna do it a little differently, but April. So just keep watching for April. That's when it'll be there.
So did you hear? Wait. So did you hear about? Speaking of wrestling, let's keep the wrestling going. Did you hear about? Or did you watch it all? You probably didn't watch yet.
Watch what?
Fastlane.
No.
You didn't watch Fastlane yet.
No.
I enjoyed it. I would recommend watching, especially like the last match. That was really good.
I'll get caught up on that shit probably in like the next week.
Yeah. Fastlane was solid. We'll talk about that more next time. Once you watch it, we'll come back to it. We'll hit that back up.
See, if you liked it, I probably won't.
No, I think you'll like it.
You think I'll actually like knowing me, knowing how I think of shit?
Do you know what happens?
I know one thing that happens.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what you.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I have no idea what you know.
Okay.
But yeah.
Somebody coming back. That's what I know.
Oh no, that's not what I was talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, that was I thought that was very good. I hope it's going to be a nice lead into WrestleMania. I haven't watched anything since then because I've been so busy. But yeah, I think it's worth the watch all the way through. Especially that last match. It's just solid. Like it's a good wrestling story. So good shit, I think.
Was it another like 2.5 hour one, 3 hour?
It's another 2.5 hour, 2:45.
See, that's
it's
good
like
shit right
time.
there. Like
it's perfect time.
That's what they need right now. Like if they're gonna keep peppering us with this shit every like 3 weeks, that's what they got to do. Keep it under 3, and then you can have your big 4 shows like the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, which WrestleMania is 2 nights again. And then like maybe SummerSlam and maybe Survivor Series. Those are the ones that can go more than 3 hours. Everything else should be like 2.5. Done.
Yeah, I agree. Like these little shows, 2.5, 2:45. The last match went about. I think it went like a solid, like almost like a solid 30 minutes.
Okay.
Like it was a good long match, and obviously I like the chemistry between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I think they just have good chemistry together. As far as wrestling goes, because just the dynamic between the two, I think it works really well. But yeah, that was cool. And then March Madness is happening right now, which I honestly I give no shits about at all. Nah. And I usually care. I usually do a bracket and all this shit.
I normally do too, but for some reason this year I just was like, meh. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing doing for me this year.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even tell you who was in the tournament.
I didn't do it this year. Yeah, but yeah, it's going on, guys. Like March Madness is here. There have been brackets busted like nobody's busted before. Busting all these nuts. So, yeah, that's happening too, man. And I'm just giving an overview of what's been happening over the... Because we didn't do all this past week, so I'm just catching up to these motherfuckers busting these brackets. All these motherfuckers losing. It's crazy. Loyola of Chicago fucking make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I forget who said this to me, but I don't think, and maybe I am wrong, or maybe they were wrong when they told me, but I just find it fascinating that out of the probably millions and upon millions of brackets that have ever been filled out, that we have never heard of a bracket that has been perfect.
I think there's been perfect brackets, yeah.
Have there been?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been perfect brackets.
Because like just probability says there has to have been perfect brackets.
Now,
much less having perfect like it may not be like a bunch of them, but I feel like you have to have perfect brackets every year because like just probability's sake.
Well, I don't know if
how many are.
I don't know if there's every year, but like because they do the $1 million thing or something like that. They do the $1 million like if you get the perfect bracket.
But not everybody fills it out on that same shit. But that's what I'm saying. You never hear of anybody hitting that. Just like you never hear of anybody winning the, you know how MLB does like the streak thing where you have to beat the 56 game hitting streak, but you can pick different people.
Right.
You never hear people winning that either.
Right.
I mean, it's like one of those things. Like you just never hear somebody hitting a perfect bracket on any of those contests. Like I'm not saying somebody in their mom and pop pool might not have one.
Right.
But I'm talking about like if somebody fills out the ESPN bracket and like goes in the big shit or like, you know, any of those other major sites that have the big contests, like you usually never hear of anybody having a perfect bracket. I just think that's interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I love I used to love the March Madness thing. I used to sit there and watch the whole bracket thing and everything. I used to be all into it. Shit. I think the course of the last, like, I guess 3 or 4 years have, like, altered my thinking in the college basketball. I used to love college basketball. Like, I used to love college basketball. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get back into it again next year. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure. But yeah. And then MLB's coming up, man. Like it's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's about to happen like next week.
Like they're trying to pop off a full season now.
Yeah. It's about to happen. And I'm just throwing this out there to you. You don't have to go. But I'm going to at least one of these fucking games. Because the Braves play the Phillies on Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Saturday, Sunday. Actually, it's Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday because Thursday's opening day, but I can't go to that shit.
You mean next week?
Yeah. I guess it's the 3rd and 4th? I don't know what fucking that shit is. 3rd and 4th? Is that what that is?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, next week would be, because next Thursday, well, no, next Thursday is the 1st.
Yeah, it is the 3rd and the 4th. Yeah, Saturday.
So that'd be
3rd,
Saturday,
Sunday, 4th. Yeah,
okay.
They're playing both those days. I'm probably going to go to both.
Well, how many, because I know they're letting people in, but what's the...
Yeah, there's a cutoff, but, you know, I'm not getting through the fucking actual site. It's sold out on the site. I'm getting off the fucking...
Oh, you're doing
like tick pick and shit. Yeah. I can't get off the site.
I mean... Be interesting.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm going.
Fair.
I just didn't know if you wanted to go. Because I'm going to spend the weekend over in Philly. And
there's a part of me that wants to. But then there's a part of me that's like, let's wait it out a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
because they'll come back.
I know, but I'm like, oh, it's perfect. It's spring break.
I know you're itching.
It's a spring break thing. Like, too.
You're just itching. You're just itching.
I know. And I want to go to a baseball game, and it's spring break. It's perfect. Like, I want it. But yes. Anyway, you may join if you so desire. If not,
we'll see.
It's all
we'll play by ear. We'll see. Let me get through this week. Let me get through this week first.
Bro, if I can get through tomorrow unscathed, I will be a happy camper because I'll be.
If I can get through this week relatively sane, then maybe
I'm gonna be a flow rider.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, well, it was great talking to you this week. I wanted to I wanted to be a little short this week because I'm tired. It's been a fucking week. There's so many things that I want to say on the podcast this week, but I'm gonna hold off. So I'm not trying to get in trouble at all. Like, at all. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that went down this week. Like, as far as work and all this shit, I'm gonna hold off on it. It's gonna be It's gonna be another time. I'm gonna use hypotheticals, all types of shit. Okay. I just don't have the energy because I'm still a little mad about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we also got to keep the listeners coming back to the High Tension Podcast Network.
My.
Bah, 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 bah.
All right. That'll do it this week on the Sweatshop Podcast on the High Tension Network, motherfuckers.
Hey.
Yes. Please like, follow, share at the Sweatshop Pod, or you can listen to us. At the Sweatshop Pod. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, or you can just look us up, the Sweatshop Podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, and on Facebook, and we're gonna be on YouTube now, back on YouTube again, rocking and rolling, and on Anchor.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much anywhere podcasts are distributed, you'll be able to find the Sweatshop Podcast by either looking up the Sweatshop Podcast or by just searching up the HTW Podcast Network. Because not only will you find the Sweatshop Podcast there, but you will also find a lot of our other great content that the HTW Podcast Network has to offer. Like, for example, Moran and Friends.
Yes.
Another great podcast, which yours truly is making an appearance on this week. I am the and friend for this week on the Moran and Friends podcast. So check that out, not only for me, but it is a fantastic show, and check out some of the backlogs on there. There are some really great episodes on there. So check those out with Johnny Moran, another great friend of the High Tension and part of the High Tension Wrestling Podcast Network family here. We also got some High Tension Wellness coming out on the HTW Podcast Network. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can actually say, because we do have some other projects that are in the works, but I don't think I can say them just yet. Baby. I'm holding on. I'm trying. There's so many things. There's so many things that I want to say that we have in the works, but I just got to keep it inside for now. But all I'm saying is stay tuned. And if you want to catch up on the latest of it all and find out the late breaking news with all of the stuff with the podcast network, with our wrestling, everything like that, you can follow us at High Tension HTW across all social media. You can look up the HTW Podcast Network on YouTube, because a lot of our episodes from all of our shows are on YouTube. You can find us all on Spotify, I believe Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere podcasts are distributed. You'll find the Sweatshop Podcast under there. Also, make sure you're checking out social media for Camp Leapfrog as well, which is a high tension wrestling product. Because again, we're going to keep rolling out some different announcements and things for the upcoming Frog Sport, which will be coming to you in April. And you can also catch the Camper's Choice if you missed out on Camper's Choice, which was sponsored by Wicked Turtle Network. And and I didn't get to talk about this, but during our Camper's Choice, we had a donation drive for Power Play NYC, and we ended up raising $850.
That's awesome.
For Power Play NYC. So even if you didn't get a chance to donate during there, I encourage you to look up what they're all about and throw a donation their way.
I did donate.
I saw that. I saw you donated. You were part of that. You were part of the conglomerate that donated $850. Yes. It is much appreciated. Much appreciated. But yeah, during Camper's Choice, not only did we have some fun with a camper booked card, going through all that, but we also raised some money for a really great cause. And you can check out that show. If you missed it, you can check it out on Independent Wrestling's Facebook page under the Camp Leapfrog section there in their live content. You can check that out if you missed it. You can see who ends up eating some dog food and who gets their underwear hung up on the post and everything like that. And just some great wrestling. Now that we were back outside. So check that out on the Independent Wrestling Facebook page. And as always, check out Camp Leapfrog at Camp Leapfrog on all social media. You can watch all of our shows, all of our past shows on IWTV, which you can get there by going to independentwrestling.tv, or you can download the app on any smart device, and you can get a subscription there. Anybody who is not subscribed to it, you can get a 5-day free trial by using the promo code Leapfrog. Will get you a 5-day free trial, and then a lot of the greatest indie wrestling in the world is at your fingertips from that point on. So I would highly recommend subscribing and watching some of the great content they have on there. Also, you can get your very own Camp Leapfrog shirt from Shop IWTV. So check that out while you're over there. You can also check out the High Tension merchandise. We got a couple different things. We got a Teespring, we got our pro wrestling tees, but then we also are coming out with a TeePublic that's got some extra stuff on there, which, by the way, will have some Sweatshop merchandise on there as well. So if you're a fan of the Sweatshop podcast, you can get some Sweatshop merchandise as well over on the TeePublic that we will be rolling out very, very soon, especially with this logo that you guys will be seeing for the first time on this episode. We got a brand new logo, got a brand new look, brand new start, but same good conversations.
Yes. On
the Sweatshop podcast here, now officially on the HDW Podcast Network. Oh, and then also you can always follow me at Maestro, A. Scott, across the board, social media. Lots of things coming out, dealing with High Tension Wrestling, Camp Leapfrog, and other projects coming along.
As Shang Tsung says in Mortal Kombat,
yes,
it has begun.
I love it. That's another thing we're trying to capitalize on, because that Mortal Kombat movie's coming out in April too.
That's it.
I'm like low key excited for it.
I
hope it doesn't
high
suck.
Key excited about it, and I really hope it doesn't suck, because the second one was awful. I love the first one.
Yes, right. Yes.
All right, y'all. I love y'all, but I'm tired. For me and the Maestro, we are closing up shop.